Hey everybody, it's me, MizBehavin again. Hi there. I'm sitting here with my friend Michelle, Michelle, and we're going to have a little impromptu interview. But first of all, as I always do, like I said, this is Michelle, my pretty friend. Uh, Hang on. There we go. Get a little light on the subject. There she is. I'm going to sing a song, which is what I always do now, and then we'll talk. And so here we go. For you Frank Sinatra fans who think that Frankie could do no wrong, I'm here to tell you he'd love my version of this. And Paul Anka wrote the song, not Frank, so get over it.
Maximum volume.
And now the end is near, and so I face my final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a lot that's full, I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my fucking way. It was my fucking way. Yeah! Woo! I love that song.
I do too.
Now, if you would do me a favor and hand me my cigarette, my lighter, and either the blue coffee cup or the Powerade, I don't care which one, I am dying of thirst. That'll work. Okay, as you all know who've been paying attention out there, and for those of you who don't and haven't been paying attention, what I usually do is I sing and then I talk a little bit about whatever the song has brought up in me. And me and Michelle were talking about this song a while ago. When I sing this song, it reminds me of recovery. You know, everybody my whole life told me what to do. You know, growing up, and then getting married, and then the booze told me what to do, the drugs told me what to do, or my man told me what to do. You know, and then 13 years ago, I picked up my chip finally. It was in December, but I finally picked up my chip. Yay. My recovery chip. Yay. So anyway, I've got 13 years, almost 14.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, thank you. But when I sing My Way, I think about recovery because you know, I didn't do it my way at all. Well, I kind of did back in recovery, before recovery. I did it my way, but my way was fucked up. Mm-hmm. It's because I was fucked up. Mm-hmm. So now I stand up and I'm accountable. And that's what I think this song is about.
You know, after I looked at the lyrics again the second time, it is more about recovery than my life. I was thinking when it starts out of how we're coming to the end of our curtain, it's like my whole life makes sense now. It was why I suffered all that shit, why I was married to an abusive man for 25 years, why alcohol told me what to do for 30 years. But the more I look at the lyrics, the more it is about recovery.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done anything my way up until the time I got clean and sober.
Yeah. Oh, and every time I get to the part where it says I plotted each course, I laugh. I fly by the seat of my pants. I ain't plotted shit. And I'm doing what I'm doing, so when I do die, I don't feel like I missed anything. You know?
Yep. Because every day is a gift. It's some kind of adventure. I can hardly wait to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to spend time with my God.
And the way I spend time with my God is talking to y'all. You know? And That was another thing. We talk about God a lot. Actually, we don't. We don't talk about God hardly at all. What we do talk about are the spiritual principles that we live by. Because her God, the God she worships, is totally different than the God or goddess that I worship, or the God or goddess that my next door
Everybody's God
neighbor.
is different.
I don't care if you go to the same church every Sunday and sit beside the same person, for the last 20 years and had the same preacher. Ain't a person in that church praying to the same God.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you that, but it's the truth. They may have been based on the same concept, but it ain't the same God. And I had to expand my God. My God was lived in a little Southern Baptist box. Yeah, my God allowed no salt for your for your flavor. My God, you couldn't dance.
Is that one of the ones where you couldn't drink or smoke?
No, well,
Or is that a
drinking
different
was the
one?
wine. You can have wine, and everybody smoked, but you couldn't dance. You could drink and smoke, but you couldn't dance. You were going to hell if you got both feet moving at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, Southern Baptist, no dancing. And I've talked about it before. You go up and you get saved, and you go and you sin no more, quote unquote, because you can't get into heaven if you keep sinning, if you keep doing the same things over and over again. And that part I do understand now is called crazy. Okay, folks. Except for I couldn't give up masturbation, and I knew I was going to go to hell because masturbation, according to my religion, was a sin. Sex with anybody before marriage was a sin. So, and women weren't supposed to have that kind of fun back when I was growing up. Anyhow, they were just beginning to figure that out in the 70s, that women did enjoy sex. So, anyhow, see, I told you there's no telling where we'll go in this conversation. So that was the God I grew up with, Baptist God, and hellfire and brimstone. The devil was always out to get you. Always, he was always out to get you. And you know what I discovered after I sobered up? All those times I got drunk and fell into bed with a married man, the devil never was there. Just me.
No.
Just me, all by myself. I'm the one that poured the whiskey down the throat. I'm the one that made the decisions to do the things that I did. The devil never made me do anything. And along that vein, God never tested me either. He never tested me. I was given options by whatever the circumstances were that I had put myself in at the time, but God wasn't the one tempting or testing me.
See, that's weird you mentioned that, because I've always had this. I didn't know what God was when I was growing up. So when I started hearing about God, what I knew of him was he was always going to be testing me to see if I would make that wrong move so he could get back at me.
Yeah, so, and why would you want a God like
I don't
that?
want a God like that. The
That
God I've
makes
got
no
since I came
sense.
in the program is just love. That's
Yeah.
all God is to me.
That makes no sense. I can't have a condemning and judging kind of God. The way I see it, from what I understand, and I could be wrong because I've been wrong quite a bit in my 59 years, but from what I understand, when God created the angels, he created them to follow him through blind love, follow his every command through love. That was anything he asked them to do, they had to do. They had no free will. They couldn't make a decision to do anything other than what God told them to do. everything they did was to please their God. So I do not see how Lucifer, God's morning star, God's brightest, most beautiful angel, could go against God. Because if God does not make mistakes,
Oh, trash.
then, Lucifer could not have turned against God. If anything like that, if what they say is true, then God said, hey, I love you very much, but I got a job for you to do. And you're not going to like it. I don't like it much, but it needs to be done. See, I created these little fellers down here, and they got free will. And I want them to understand what it's like having free will and being away from me. I want you to go over there and stand in the darkness and just tell them what it feels like being away from me, what it feels like being away from my light and my love, being cut off from me. Go over there in the dark and just stand there and wait for them. They'll be there. So he goes over and he stands in the darkness, and we wander over because, we've got free will. We get to make decisions, choices to go down this path or that path or even this path. But we have free will. And we choose a path that leads us into that darkness where Lucifer, God's most beautiful angel, is standing there crying and angry because, he can't even get angry. He's just sad because he can't be in the presence of his God, because he was created to do nothing but love God and be loved by God.
Mm-hmm.
He knew, and being shut off from God just would make anything ugly, don't you think?
Yeah.
So,
Made me really ugly.
he's still, so I don't see him as leaving God. I see God as putting him to work. That's part of what, why me and this lady get along, is because talking from spiritual principles, we don't have to compare our gods anymore. My God's bigger than your God.
That's ridiculous. That's what causes half the world's fights, is fights over religion and politics.
The love of money.
And money.
Love of money. Love of money, and my God can kick your ass.
Yep.
All of this stuff that we talk about is just different perspective of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what God you worship, as long as you're practicing spiritual principles according to the program that we hang out in.
And you have a higher power. That's it.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Hallelujah, hallelujah. I like that song.
I love that song. I didn't even stop that was that song. My boyfriend plays that in church. He sings that all the time in church. It's so beautiful. I love that.
And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about in our last conversation, stuff out of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of freaked me out. I think that's the story of Samson and cutting his hair. The boy got horny watching the girl taking a bath on the roof. Okay. So he goes over to her house. They get a little kinky with it. She ties him up, cuts his hair. He has this massive orgasm, and it's her fault because she cut his hair. Why is it Delilah's fault? Was she a wicked witch?
No, but a lot of the people in the Bible are like that. What's
know.
that one before Eve?
There was no one before Eve, according to the Bible.
What else? What I've read something.
It was
somewhere.
Adam and Eve were supposed to be the first two people.
But before Eve, he had made some.
Oh,
Lilith.
Lilith, yes. Lilith was created before Eve, and when they said, you got to, he's your boss, she said, fuck you, and they sent her to hell.
See, I didn't know anything about it.
That's
I just heard about Lilith.
Yeah,
so.
that's basically what it was. She said she wouldn't be subservient, and so she got booted. And then Eve got seduced by the snake, and she got booted. Well, actually, she got us her period, according to the Bible. That's the reason we have a period, is because of that. Women get a bad rap in the Bible. They really do.
Well, we haven't had a good one throughout life.
Well, it's because we had a bad rap in the Bible, and that's what everybody believes in.
Yeah.
And that's just strictly my opinion.
That's true.
It's just strictly my opinion, but I just calls them as I sees them. The paganism was more about the female version of God. There was Goddess Maiden, Goddess Mother, Goddess Crone, and then in Christian we got God the Father, God the Son, and then the Holy Spirit.
Right.
And I believe what we need for this world to survive is a set of parents. Not one, not the other. I think they need to start working together, and instead of fighting each other. Ain't none of us no better than the other. I can't be having that's why I have a hard time with God, because I want to make God human. I give God human characteristics. And I can't do that, because that would mean God would be scared, and that God would make mistakes, and that God would, and if God is not supposed to be that way, God is supposed to be perfect. He doesn't make mistakes, because everything that happens, according to everything I've heard, everything happens in God's time for a reason. Mm-hmm. This coronavirus. Okay, we talked about that earlier. Now, I think it's the planet's way or God's way, whatever, of thinning the herd so that we will quit fucking up our planet.
I think it's the planet's way.
So, and to me, the planet comes closer to being God than I ever will.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't grow a tree. I can have a baby, but I can't grow a tree.
And if you could, I would be worried.
Now I can plant the seed, and I can water it, and I can do all that stuff, but I cannot make that tree. Right. I can do some physical work to help it, but that's it. And it's kind of the same way with having a baby. I ain't really doing nothing.
Yeah.
The egg got planted. I just feed it and water it. I'm just a plant that walks around.
Well, women are just big plants.
No, I think we're more like the planet than the plant. We're a small planet on a planet that can make babies. See, because a planet can grow trees.
But how could two planets fit in the same room?
Because we're very not all planets are as big as have you never seen Men in Black?
No.
Okay. There is a universe that is the size of a marble around a cat's neck. It's a universe, and it's been captured. It's anyway. Everything is not huge. It doesn't have to be huge to be a universe. I live in my own universe, just like you do.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Size doesn't mean,
I guess when I heard the word universe, I just thought huge.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody does. Planet. Yeah. What? How can two? Earth and sun and the moon can exist in the same universe. They rotate around each other. They hang out together. They're bigger than we are. They got that social distancing down though.
Yeah.
They work so well together. They keep each other going. Woo! Anyhow, see, I told you, ain't no telling where we'll go when I'm having this conversation with somebody.
No.
And even by myself, you never know where I'm going when I'm talking.
Just don't start interviewing yourself.
I do all the time. Like I said, life's an adventure, and I'm pretty much up for anything. I used to say I was try. I'd try anything once, and if I liked it, I'd do it again. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this little shindig down. It's going to be a little shorter than the last one, but we're tired. This whole thing is, we are high. Let me sing a song, okay? I was gonna clean my room, but then I got high. Yeah, I did. Gonna get right up and find that broom, but then I got high. My room is still a mess, and we know why. Hey, yeah, 'cause I got high, because I got high, because I got high. I was gonna go to class, but then I got high. Oops. I was gonna cheat and I would have passed, but then I got high. I'm taking it next semester, and we all know why. Hey, yeah, 'cause I got high, because I got high, because I got high.